This video is on competitive currencies. It's a government reform where a lot of currencies can exist in a system where you have one standard, easy exchange. All the different currencies will get this currency back by the end of the day, and everything's fully backed up. And you pick basically what will back up your money, whether you want it all gold or want it stocks, bonds, whatever. There's a lot to it. I'm not going to go through everything on this video. I have a lot of other videos out there that goes through different aspects. I go through every aspect of this, every bullet point. And I have an hour-long videos. I have a lot of videos out there that goes through everything. But let's go with what this video is about. Money is currently paid for and controlled by government politicians and politicians' appointees. Their compensation package, so these people, the head of the Federal Reserve and stuff, they usually make $200,000-$300,000, maybe $400,000, which is like less than 10% of what a highly successful CEO makes. And the Federal Reserve and the members of the Federal Reserve banks, all their board of directors and stuff, they make a lot lower than who they regulate. There's a lot of financial institutions out there, and their CEOs make 10 to 20 times more than the people in government. So the people making a lot less are regulating the people making much more, and that usually doesn't go well, because if the people in the government, if they were good enough, they could get jobs in the private sector. So you have people with less qualifications, lower standards of success, regulating people with much higher levels of success. And the CEOs of these private finance companies, they have to work around the regulations and get past them, their hurdles, a lot of times doing harm to the company. So they make their big money on how well they get around the government regulations, because a lot of times the government regulations are not there to help. They actually do harm, and that's a whole other conversation we're not going to get into at this conversation here. If we had 1,000 currencies, each run by a different CEO, some would be better, and than the chief of the Federal Reserve. So the top guy who's running the Federal Reserve, out of 1,000 currencies, some people would be better, some people would be worse, just by law of averages. But when you have a lot of people who are better, they're going to start getting more business, because the people who are doing worse, they're going to have to go out of business. The free enterprise system, capitalism, is based off of a profit and loss. So the people who are doing it badly, they lose their job, their companies go out of business, and more business goes to the people who are doing it well. That's what makes capitalism so well. With the Federal Reserve chief and the board of directors, if they do it badly, they can't lose their job, or very rarely can they lose their job. They have a lot of job security, which is not the best thing. The best thing about the free enterprise system is that people doing it badly, people who are regulating badly, people who are not showing good results, they don't lose their job, and they're managing people in a way that has bad results. So every citizen can select their currency, and with that currency is an organization that has a board of directors and a CEO that's dealing with that currency. So how well are they doing? And if they do poorly, they're gonna lose members. They're gonna lose things. So let's see if I have another one. Each currency operator will have expenses paid for by their members. So their members have to pay it. And most likely it's going to be incorporated into your bank, and the bank will, quote unquote, charge you. But there's always fees in there, and you're going to get less interest rate and the like. That's how it gets all mushed together. You just if they're not doing as well, you get less interest rate in your investments, in your on your money that you have invested in there. Some extra costs will be worth it. So if they charge you more, They can pay for a better CEO with a better track record, and that's going to result in a higher investment growth. So some costs will be worth it, and some will not be worth it. Some people who are not doing so well, they might charge a little bit, but then you're getting a 1% growth or even a 1 or 2% loss per year versus a good CEO who's getting 5 to 10% growth but they charge more. They charge 1 or 2%. So that's highly important to understand, and that allow every citizen, allow every person who wants to invest to choose what currency they want to go with. And with 1,000, roughly 12 to 20 per state, you can have a lot of different, a lot of ones. So you can go to one that's not even in your state. You can belong to whatever currency you want to. The national organization that facilitates all the different currencies, they will facilitate the distributing. They will take in all the currencies. Any currency that you have, any currency a bank has that's not their own, they send up to this organization, and then they send back all your currency back down to you. So it'll be a massive organization. It doesn't have to be super massive. It's done by computers and stuff. But you bring in all the different currencies up, and then you distribute it back down. Obviously, there's going to be some differences. What goes up, what comes down. Some of your members are going to be spending more money, so people are going to be getting money in. And the difference is going to be made up with real assets from the different monetary currency asset portfolios. So they're called MCAPs, which is monetary currency asset portfolios. They're storerooms of values of things of value. So you select what's in your storeroom of value, what's going to be in your MCAP. But when a currency has more currency going up, things coming back, that means some of your members sold stuff or bought stuff, and then so you don't have as much currency. Assets have to be taken out of your MCAP because the other currencies legally own that because they were given up in trade. So it can all be done. Some of this might not be it might be a little bit confusing right now, but go look at the full bullet points on that. Requirements to be a currency. You have to create an MCAP, a storeroom of value. You have to put items of worth into your MCAP. You can only issue currency to match the worth of your MCAP. Adjust the value of your unit of currency to the average, which is going to be the BD, the back dollar. That's going to be the paper of coin and paper. And that's going to be the average of all of them. So that's going to be what's out there mostly. That's what's going to be listed as the price on things when you go into the stores. You have to be a currency, you have to accept all other currencies, which has to be quickly exchanged for items of worth in the MCAP for other currencies. So when you accept a currency, somebody buys something, now that other currency that's not their own, they own somebody else's currency, they have a legal right for the assets in your MCAP. So they get to take those things. Now obviously there's a balance. You're going to put all your currencies up, bring all the other currencies up, receive all your currencies back, and the difference would be something. So items of so you're gonna bring them up, bring them back. There's a difference. You exchange assets to match that difference. MCAP has to, which is a competitive currency, has an MCAP. They have to value their items of worth legitimately. There's a whole section that in the system of the bullet points that addresses that. It can happen easily. They cooperate with a federal organization that facilitates everything going up and down, and creating the BD. They facilitate the BD, the back dollar, the coin and paper. They have to facilitate that to their members, to their banks. The federal organizations will, quote unquote, buy a percentage of your currency with the BD to give that BD actual value. and so you have to facilitate that for your members. So it's a service to your members, but to be a currency, you have to do this. Adjust the worth of your MCAP based on the change in the value of the assets. So if you have stocks and bonds, that's always changing in value. If you have gold, that changes in value compared to everything else. So you have to adjust your currencies based off of that to the average. So then your assets are going to be going up and down on a daily basis because things are being bought and sold, and assets are being changed from one MCAP to another when you have 1,000 of these. So there's going to be a easy way for this to happen. So the national organization, the federal organization that organizes everything, they're basically just a tool. It's not going to tell you what you can and cannot do, other than make sure you are abiding by these requirements. If you abide by these requirements, then you can have whatever you want in your assets. But these requirements are significant, don't get me wrong, but these are what you need to do to have a currency. Okay, I separate government power into 30 sectors, and the financial banking sector will be the one that this is under. And you can look at those and why I separate everything into 30 sectors. A lot more to see at Haley2024.org. Until the next video.